Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to start with something that no one has ever heard before. So no one in here knows it any more than anyone else, except maybe Brian.
So this melody has 3 words to it. It's very easy. The first word is Shabbos.
Shabbat.
All right. The second word is the word for rest, Menucha.
Menucha.
So it's Shabbos Menucha, and then at the very end, it's Shabbos Kodesh.
Shabbos.
Kodesh, which means sacred or holy. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hey, nai, 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 Shabbos. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos Kodesh. Nai, 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 Shabbos. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hey, hi, ay, 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 Shabbos. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hey, hi, nai, 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 Shabbos. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hey, hi, ay, 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 Shabbos. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos Kodesh. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hey, hi, ay, 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 Shabbos. Hi, nai, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hey, hey, hi, nai, 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 Shabbos. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos Menucha. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos. Hi, ay, 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 Shabbos Kodesh. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. What a gorgeous way to start to bring in Shabbat this weekend. I love that Reb Brian has us thinking about Shabbos Menucha, Shabbat Menucha, that idea of having a little bit of a rest. Because I don't know about you, but I really need that after the week we've had. Storms, winds, power outages, school closures, nasty commutes. I think we all need a little bit of that Shabbos Menucha right now. And I love that the writer Sarah Hurwitz teaches us that the word Shabbat, or Shabbos in the Yiddish, is connected to the verb to pause or to cease. Genesis describes how on the 7th day, God ceased from all the work of creation, which suggests that the work was done. But the medieval commentary Rashi says that actually the resting was part of the creation, that 7th day, that deliberate act of rest, is part of what we need to continue to be creative, active, engaged beings. Because if we don't rest, we can't keep going. And so Sarah Hurwitz says that God offers the power of divine example through this creation of Shabbat. Only then is the world complete, when we are invited to take a pause and a deep breath and then let that breath out again and get that gift of Shabbat rest every week. And it's such a joy that this Shabbat we are led by our own Saul Kay and by Reb Brian Yosef Schachter Brooks as our song leaders, our prayer leaders, our leaders this evening. And tomorrow morning, our leader in song and prayer will be our bar mitzvah, Gabriel Basil, who has worked so hard to get to this moment of celebration. We'll get to hear a sneak peek of Gabriel's beautiful voice later this evening when he leads us in our Kiddush and Motzi. But for now, we'd like to invite you, Gabriel, and your sister Anya, and your parents, Anthony and Rachel, to join us on the bima to light our Shabbat candles so that we can continue to welcome in Shabbat. If you'd like to follow along with us, we're on page 2 for the candle lighting blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shakoach, we will hear more from you later. You didn't pass out on the first thing. You did good. I always tell kids at PTBE and Warnick, when I got to my bar mitzvah, I did my bar mitzvah in South Africa, and I studied in Fresno, and I was not a good student. Believe it or not. Very rebellious. And when I got to South Africa, I met with the rabbi, and he started subtractively editing what I was going to do during my B'nai Mitzvah. So he was like, oh, you don't really know this, we'll take that out, we'll take this out, we'll take that. And finally I was like, well, what actually makes it a bar mitzvah if you're taking all this stuff out? He's like, as long as you are called to Torah, that's it. I said, that's really all I have to do? So anyway, you're well prepared, young man. It'll be great. Well, I have to say, this man sitting to my left, Brian Schachter, Reb Brian, is the person that invited me to join a Jewish music band in 2000. And I seem to remember the conversation going something like this. Saul, you gotta be a part of my band. He was very excited. I'm like, no, I hate Jewish music. That's a terrible idea. I'm not into it. And he's like, no. He said, it's actually pretty good. I'm like, okay, I'll come and take a look. I did. And lo and behold, it was pretty good. And this was a little tiny community called Chochmat Halev in Berkeley. First time I went there was like 11 people there, and 3 of them were the rabbis, so it was pretty small. And we really grew that community from, that to like 300-400 people dancing every Friday, and it was an incredible experience. And I just want to publicly say thank you for persisting. And as you really have.
And thank you, Saul, for having me here tonight. It's a big honor to be here. Thank you.
Of course. So we'll talk more. We have a lot to catch up on. And in fact, we might play some of those old melodies that are beautiful. I'm excited. But for now, let's welcome in the Shabbos Bride. If you want to turn to page 20, 21. And I also want to say hello to everyone on Zoom as well. And really, I want you to think of this as the moment where you're really inviting in that indwelling of Shabbat. You're inviting Shabbat to come into you, to come into the room. That menucha we were talking about. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishme'anu el ha'miuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'Hashem tiferet v'litchila. Let's hear your holy voices. Lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikadam nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava tila. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5, next page. Hitoreri, hitoreri Kiva orech kumi ori Uri uri shir daveri Kevod Adonai alaich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. And you can rise in body or spirit and face the doors. Boi v'shalom atet ba'ala gam besimcha u'b'tzochola toch imunei am segula boi chala boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. All right, just your voices this time. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lashevet b'vakasha kulam, you may be seated.
We're going to come to the Baruch on page 28, which is the invitation to the formal part of the prayer service. And as an introduction into the Baruch, I'd like to share a chant that we do in the Jewish Renewal World. and it's a call and response. So it says Baruch Hu, and then you sing back Baruch Hu, dear one. And then I say a word, Shekhinah, which means divine presence. It's a name of God, but it's particularly talking about the presence of divinity that's inherent in all things in the world, and which is really what Shabbat is about. It's about that presence becoming felt and palpable in the world. So I say Shekhinah, and then holy name, and then we sing, when I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu,
dear one,
dear one,
Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu,
dear one,
dear one,
Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. One more, when I call. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home.
please rise and body your spirit. Baruch Hu, et Adonai, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Let's hear your holy voice sing. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Keep singing that. Let's hear some harmonies. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Last time it sounds so beautiful. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. You can be seated. So it's this beautiful custom when we say the Shema that if you're wearing a talis, you gather the frayed edges of your tzitzit together, or as my good friend Rabbi David Ingbar says, he says, get yourself together. And so it's the idea that we're bringing in the frayed edges, the frayed thoughts, the scattered parts of our beings. We're bringing it all in for just a moment of oneness. And so we'll close our eyes, we'll come together for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'em. You can join us on page 36 for the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavcha Bechol nafshecha Bechol me'odecha Ve'hayu Advarim ha'em Tam levanecha v'divarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha ulechtecha b'derech u'shofecha kumecha u'shkatam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu lantotafot b'neinecha u'ptachtam al mezuzot beitecha u'yisharecha leman tizkeru v'yasitem kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim licholechem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. You know, you guys are amazing. I was just thinking of a story I heard from a dear friend of mine, a blessed memory named Rebbe Yolis. I think Bride met Rebbe Yolis. Rebbe Yolis was a Rebbe in Bucharest, one of the last of a generation. I got to spend quite a bit of time with him. He was, in his old age, he had shomrim, people that would just stay with him for a couple days. He was this old, frail man, just gentle soul. He wouldn't even talk any Torah unless you would eat something. And he's the man from whom I learned how to love sardines at 9 a.m, which was a stretch. Anyway, so he would say, we must make a bracha and eat some food. So anyway, he was, he went to speak at a Reform synagogue, which is kind of like unusual for a man that's lived in the super ultra Orthodox world for his whole life. And he said, I was just thinking of him just now. He said, you know, you people are amazing. He said, God trusts you more than me. He said, I have been in a yeshiva my entire life and in shul almost every day, and I do not step outside the bubble. But all of you, and this is true, you have you can go anywhere, do whatever you want. And yet here you are. He said, you are more religious than I am. I thought that was a really sweet story. So I always want to applaud you in this pluralistic universe of the Bay Area that you're here in shul or you're on Zoom watching. So, yasher koach. And another quick story. Mandel is your last name, right? Okay, this young man in the front row here was the first person to have a bar mitzvah in this building. Peter Mandel in 1957. The story goes, I don't know, the sign wasn't on the building, you know, it was muddy in the streets, like it was a kind of a, not what you see tonight. So we really have one of our pioneers, and I want to honor you and say that's yasher koach to you, and that here's your grandson coming to bless us. It's an incredible legacy that you've built. So thank you. And legacies are built one footstep at a time. And sometimes you just have to take one step at a time. And Micha Mocha on page 40, we can walk together. We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. Mikamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mikamocha nedar Lord, oh, say, no rock. Say, Lord, oh, say, let's walk together. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. Some holy harmonies. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. Oh, are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. Oh, we are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. Oh, we are walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God.
Coming to this prayer for peace and protection and healing on page 42, Hashkivenu. Grant us, Hashem, that we lie down in peace and raise us up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. There's a refrain that's very easy to sing. It goes like this. Hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai. Let's try that. Hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai. Hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai. Hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai. If you'd like to sing along with me at the top of page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Lishalom V'ha'amidenu Shomrenu Lechaim Tovim Tovim Lishalom U'Lishalom U'Lishalom. Hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai. Hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai. Hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai, hi nai 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 nai. Third line, Ufros. Ufros aleinu sukkah shalomecha v'taknenu be'etza tova milefanecha v'hoshienu 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 meher leman shemecha. Hey hey na hi nai 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 nai, 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 hi nai 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 nai. Baruchata Adonai, Hapores Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Va'al Yerushalayim. Can I get an amen?
Amen. A beautiful melody on page 44. Veshameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם.
Hey, 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 ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
Please rise your body and spirit as we're going to enter into the Amidah. We'll try something new tonight. Silence. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. So offer a prayer for healing. There are people that you know that need healing of body and spirit. You'll have an opportunity to share their name as we open the gates. Pitchu li Shaarei Tzedek. Oh, I feel compelled to tell the story of the song. So sometimes God gives you gifts that you don't use for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. This song was written in an airport in Zimbabwe, which is about as big as this right here, in 2009. When I was about as far away from a shul geographically as you can possibly be, and I was thinking about Tikkun Olam. And here we are, 15 years later, it landed. Open the gates of mercy and let your light shine in. Open the gates of mercy and let your love shine in. So we can build a better place worth living in. We can build a better place called a home. If you never heard the song before, I'll give you the words so you can sing it with us. So it starts, open the gates of mercy and let your light in, like that. Open the gates of mercy, let your light, and let your light shine in. Same line we say it, but with love we say, open the gates of mercy, let your love, and let your love shine in. We can build a better place, so we can build a better place worth living in. We can build a better place, we can build a better place called a home. So tonight we want to send healing prayers to Stephanie Levitt, Marilyn Greenwald, Marcia Margolin, Francie Karp, Eva Bin, Larry Margolis, Gary Verbin, Larry German, Rebecca Frazier, Marcel Frazier, Sherry Bernstein, Maxine Rogo, Pari Meskin, David Habib, Lev Heschel Ben Bat Ami, Carol Kleinman, Sergio Ribka, Carol Penn, Jessica Bobson, Cindy Brines, Dolores Gold, Elisheva Hana, Sophia Hana, Betty Nazarian, Steve Coughlin, Gail Rosenberg, Richard Maltzman, Annette Marshall, Steve Stupp, Aviv Siegel, Faith Atish, Richard Lau, Devorah Bat Avraham Ve'ester, Benjamin Asher Ben Leah, and if there's anyone whose name I mispronounced, or if you want to add a name, you can. We want to say a prayer for healing for all those that are in need of healing, suffering mentally, physically, emotionally, and those that don't have someone to pray for them, pray for them too. Open the gate gates of mercy, and let your light shine in. Open the gates of mercy, and let your love shine in. So we can build a better place worth living in. We can build a better place called home. Called home. Refuah Shalema. Call that home. I'd like to call out my friend for Devar Torah, Reb Brian. Come on up.
Shabbat Shalom. It's a great honor to be here. Good to see you, Josie. Josie was friends with my wife's aunt and also with her. And it's great to be here with family. And I just learned that before I hopped on the flight to come over. In my regular life, what I do mostly is lead an online Jewish meditation community. So people gather every day on Zoom, pretty much every day. And we do meditation, silent meditation for about 15 minutes, and then some chanting and some learning, filling out about a half an hour. And I'm so passionate about it because it's so simple, so easy, and yet so good for you. I want everybody to start meditating if you're not already. It slows the aging process, it enhances your immune system, and it makes you just generally happier, not to mention improving the ability to deal with difficulty, the ability to deal more maturely and effectively with painful things when they come up, not be taken over by reactivity and be a jerk when we don't want to be. All of that comes from awareness, comes from enhancing awareness. And it's also the core of tefillah. It's the core of davening. A lot of traditional Jewish people who've never heard of meditation are actually meditating. They just don't call it that when they're bringing their hearts and their minds fully into the words of the tefillah that they're chanting. So I want to share with you a few words on this week's parsha, particularly with regard to meditation. So once I was somewhere, I'm not sure where I was, if it was in an airport or a doctor's office, but there was a television on. So there was some show that was going on. And on this show, they showed a very, very old man, like a 100-year-old man, it was showing his daily routine. And so from the moment he woke up in the morning, he could hardly do anything for himself, but he had an attendant who helped him sit up, helped him use the bathroom, gave him a sponge bath every day, dressed him in very dapper, nice clothes, helped him to the kitchen, gave him coffee and breakfast, and then took him out into the world to do activities. So that's about all I saw, but it filled me with such a feeling of deep joy to watch. And I was surprised. I said, why am I feeling so happy seeing this video? And what I realized was that even though he wasn't able to do very much for himself at that point in his life, he didn't let that stop him. He could have had his attendant bring him breakfast in bed, but no. He dressed up real nice and snazzy. He had a suit on. He ate at the kitchen table. He went out into the world and he did things. He had a routine. He had a practice. And through that practice, he enjoyed his life. And I believe there's such a crucial lesson here for our spiritual lives as well. It's so common for people to go through their days taking care of whatever physical things need to be taken care of, basic responsibilities, without much attention to the inner life, to the spirit, to the heart, to awareness. But our inner life really does need attention as well. Just like our outer life, it's not just like our outer life, but the inner life is not so obvious to us. If we don't eat and breathe, we die. But if we don't have a spiritual practice, especially meditation in some form, we might be alive, but we'll probably miss out appreciating the miracle of aliveness a lot of the time. And even on the physical level, meditation, as I said before, does so many good things for us. But in order to make meditation part of our lives, we need to be able to recognize that it's important. We need to hear the call in a sense. And that's where this week's Parsha comes. This week's Parsha is the first book of the book of Leviticus, the first Parsha of the book of Leviticus. And in Hebrew, that's Vayikra, which means called. So the beginning of the Parsha says, Vayikra el Moshe, Vayedeber Adonai elav, which means Vayikra called to Moses, and the divine spoke to him. There is an unusual phrasing in this first pasuk. Vayikra el Moshe literally means and called to Moses. God is calling to Moses, but unlike other times when God speaks, it doesn't mention the divine name. It is as if to say that the divine call is beyond all names, beyond all words, beyond thought. In other words, it's the call of silence. Furthermore, the letter Aleph in the opening word Vayikra is written tinier than the other letters. If you look in the scroll, it says Vayikra. All of a sudden, the Aleph is very small. And the Aleph is also silent, and it has the numerical value of what? What's the numerical value of Aleph? 1. It's number 1. Hinting, we can read out of this, that the practice of silence, if we drop in and learn how to practice being that silence, then we can come to experience that oneness directly, that oneness that we call the divine. And it's small to say that the oneness is hidden within all things, calling to us in each moment. Of course, it's much easier to hear all the other calls. The call of our mundane responsibilities, the call of the news, God forbid, the call of entertainment and social media. But if we want to hear the call of the divine, we've got to get up in the morning with God in mind. Even if you can barely move, modeh ani lefanecha, modeh ani lefanecha, giving thanks that we are awake in the morning. Because like that man, we too can put on our special clothes, a talit perhaps, maybe even tefillin or whatever signifies to you that you're going to do something special, that you're going to connect with the Spirit. And then give yourself that gift. So I want to share with you a few moments of meditation. This practice is what I call the 3 portals because we go into silence in 3 different levels. The first one I call the portal of the heart. And it's very simple. It basically means taking the attitude of offering your attention from your heart. Very often when people try to meditate, they're trying to control their mind. They're trying to have a certain experience. They're trying to get something out of it. All of that sabotages the meditation because meditation is just being with the moment as it is. It's not trying to get something out of it. So that's the first step, is to orient ourselves. So imagine if a small child came and showed you a picture they drew. What does that make you feel like? Gives you a smile on your face, right? They show you a picture, it's like a warm feeling. There's no ulterior motive about it. So that's a little thought experiment that you can do. Imagine a small child made a picture for you and they're showing it to you. So bringing your right hand to your heart and bringing forth this attitude of just giving your attention with nothing really in mind other than giving your presence from the heart. And there's a word we can chant in Hebrew. The word is lecha, it means for you. Lecha. So if you will with me, let's chant the word lecha in a long out breath. Deep breath in. Lecha. And then with the right hand still on your heart, bringing your left hand to your belly, The second portal is the portal of your body, just bringing your attention down into your belly, bringing your awareness to all of your organs and life systems, keeping you alive right now, and bringing that awareness down from your belly through your legs to your feet and toes, and feeling upwards into your chest and shoulders and neck, releasing any excess tension that might be there. Taking a nice deep breath and feeling the flow of your breathing. Letting the feeling of your breathing draw your attention down into your body. Awareness in your face, facial muscles, brain, nervous system. Bringing a little smile to your lips. Being that indwelling presence in the temple of the body. And affirming this body connection with the word na'aseh. Deep breath in. Na'aseh. And if you're comfortable with your left hand still on your belly, bringing your right hand to lightly touch your forehead. This is the third portal, the portal of awareness itself. So just bringing to mind that the awareness that dwells in your body is not limited to your body, but expanding outward, feel the room around you. Aware of the sounds, the little sounds in the room besides my voice. The feel of support beneath you, the feel of the air as it enters your body and flows back out. And bringing to mind that everything we experience right now, everything we hear, everything we feel, the thoughts arising in our mind is all happening in this field of awareness. And we are this field. You are this field, beyond the body, beyond thought. V'nishma, and a long out breath. Deep breath in. V'nishma. And kissing your fingers, relaxing your hands, just letting your eyes be closed. To come into this silence, we're going to chant a little bit Atahu, the tefillah Atahu, you who are not separate from anything we encounter, you who are not separate from this awareness we are, Atahu, you are Hashem, you are the divine. We'll chant like this. Atahu, 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 Atahu. Let's meditate in silence just for a minute or two. And the idea is just to continue chanting in your mind, Atahu, either with the melody like we did or just saying it in your mind. The main thing is to bring your mind into that repetition and vibration of the words, Atahu, so that as thoughts come into your mind, you notice them. You don't have to push them away or be aggressive or try to control your mind. Just when you notice, bring your mind back, Atahu, Atahu. And as we do that, the mind, you'll see, will clear on its own. You'll feel the spaciousness. And let's do that together briefly for about a minute. Taking a nice stretch. Nice deep breath. Thank you so much for your attention and for meditating with me. It was a blessing. It is a blessing to be here with you tonight. If you would like to engage more with meditation, Jewish meditation, then go meditate with Saul. What nights do you meditate?
We're going to start up again after Pesach, Thursday nights.
Thursday nights. And if you'd like to meditate with me, again, you can always find me at Torah of Awakening, torahofawakening.com. We actually do it once a month on a Monday night, a community-wide meditation with synagogues all over the country. So maybe this synagogue will join. I don't know. But come and meditate with us. It's a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much, Reb Brian, for helping us receive a little bit more expansiveness this Shabbat. And I'm going to jump the gun a little bit on our announcements that I'm about to welcome Mindy Shelton up for by saying we have one other great opportunity for meditation. Rabbi Genevieve's meditation class has its final meeting this coming Tuesday at 5:30 in the meditation room just behind the Ark. So if you were inspired tonight, you can consider checking out the amazing offerings that both Saul and Reb Brian have, and also coming to Rabbi Genevieve's class. And I will turn it over to Mindy Shelton from our Board of Trustees to share some of the other exciting things going on here.
Thank you. That was on my list. But no, that's okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And I want to especially say congratulations to Gabriel and his family, and I hope you have a beautiful day tomorrow. I know how special it is for your parents, having been through my own children's and also myself becoming bat mitzvah in this room, like your grandfather. So mazel tov and good luck tomorrow. And I want to say thank you to Reb Brian, not only for this beautiful service, but also on behalf of the congregation, thank you for bringing Saul to Jewish music. And we all appreciate all that he brings here too. We do have our last Jewish mindfulness class coming up on Tuesday with Rabbi Genevieve. I also would love to invite you to BEW's Miriam Seder on April 2nd, a great way to welcome in the Passover season. It is open to all genders. Everyone is welcome, so please come celebrate Miriam Seder with us. That's April 2nd in the afternoon, I think 3 o'clock. Also that day, earlier in the day, we have a garden work day. So if you enjoy gardening, you can come and lend your hands to our community garden here at PTBE. We are excited to be installing our new Tree of Life as a way to honor celebrations or memorials. We've got early bird pricing through March 31st if you're interested in buying a leaf that's part of that tree. And I think that's everything. So Shabbat Shalom again. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Mindy. And I want to give a special shout out to those members of the confirmation class who are here with us tonight. If you are younger than 10th grade, this is a great opportunity when you're in 10th grade to get in a little more Jewish learning. And I'm particularly delighted that the members of the confirmation class who are with us tonight all came with me to Lita Ken, the Reform Movement's social justice trip to DC, and they look so excited about it. A second ago you did, yeah. So a little plug for that as well, for those of you who are younger than 10th grade or have people in your life younger than 10th grade. It's a great way to go deeper into some learning and justice work. So hi, confirmation students, glad you're here. I feel like it's such a profound gift of Jewish tradition that we don't separate out the happy and the sad, that we know that those mix in our lives, they mix in our days, and that we always take time, even in Shabbat joy, in this beautiful place of expansiveness and meditation and beautiful melodies that Reb Brian and Saul have offered us. Even amid that, we take time to know that we also come to community to remember and to mourn and to be supported by those around us when we are in times of loss. And we do that, I think, in part because we know that we can't be alone in the hard times. We need to be together. We need to be seen and held and loved in these times. So if you are here tonight to say Kaddish, to mark the loss of a loved one, either in recent times or anniversary of the death of a loved one, we'll invite you to rise so that we can see you and be here with you. This week, our community is marking the recent losses of Stanley Soul Bellistock, Ron Jericho, Olivia Goldstone, Renee Mandel-Schur, Myron Mike Meadow, and Howard Leland Eisenberg. And we are marking the yahrzeit, the anniversary of death, of Annie Aron, Lester Lewis, Carrie Bach, Harry Gross, Harry Hoffman, Claranne Goldring, Andrew Gabor, Monroe Kroll, Barbara Castle, Michael Hyman, Phil Karp, Barbara Miller, Jean Shapiro, Juan Predenas, Carol Goldstein, Martin Parker, William Rose, Seema Largman, Minnie Gershaw, Beatrice Moskowitz, Hal Tibbetts, Haya Turkenitz, Louis Berkowitz, Melvin M. Safran, Michael Offerman, Margaret Walsh, Harry Bergman, Robert Heyman, Robert Seaman, Lorraine Sattler, Henrietta Balter Horowitz, Denny Simonson, Sylvia Reeder, and Sarah Sendrovich. If I've mispronounced any of these names and you'd like to say it again out loud, or if there are names that we've missed on our list, we invite you to share those names so that we can be with you. We'll invite you to rise as you're able for Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom on page 294, so that we can remember together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach irte ve'amlich malchute, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'sherata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru Amen. We say zichronam livracha, may the memories of those we love always be for a blessing. Amen. Now, I always think there's a good historical reason that Kaddish is in Aramaic, the language that many Jews spoke at the time of its development. But I also wonder if part of why we continue to find it so powerful, even though it says nothing about death or loss, and it's not in a language that really any of us speaks fluently, I think that it says that these are things beyond words. These are experiences that we can't try to capture in simple words, and so instead we look to tradition and rhythm and community to help us through these times. So thank you for being here and for being a community that cares about one another. And I'll invite you one more time to offer an amen to Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. Gabriel, we're going to invite you to join us again on the bima, adding another note of joy as we turn to Kiddush and Motzi, our blessings over our grape juice and our challah. If you'd like to follow along, we're on page 5. Gabriel, bring
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, hinhilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila, lamikraye kodesh, zeher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'harta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodsheha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinhaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Amen.
This is all for you. This is all for you. You can take this home, have it for breakfast. And we are so excited to get to celebrate with your family in the morning. Yasher Koach, Gabriel.
Yasher Koach. Amazing. So I forgot there's one. I know there's so many announcements that we do, but I wanted to say I'm doing this private house concert April 1st. Thanks, co-sponsored by the PJCC and Rabbi Lori. And I think there's like 8 spots left. So look online. You can come. It's at someone's home in Hillsborough, whose name I wouldn't remember anyway, but can't mention. It's a really nice house. You should definitely come. And it'll be a sweet, intimate Havdalah. We'll have wine. It'll be great. So that's it. And I'm stalling to find where Adon Olam is, because I think it's on page 121, 31, 321. Let's try that. Sounds good. So once again, I want to thank Reb Brian for coming. Everyone give him a big Yasher Koach on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yasher Koach. Definitely go find him.
It's wonderful to be here.
And let's say a Yasher Koach to Saul for being our leader.
Yasher Koach.
Thank you. And I hope Ilana has had a nice night off.
Yeah.
Even cantors need a night off sometime. And I want to say Yasher Koach to Bela for staying through the service. And if she wants to come up, no pressure, and sing, she can, but she doesn't have to. So all of you, let's do it. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'nasa, B'Chefsa Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, Achari, Kiglor HaKol, Yivato Yimlok Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Over, V'hu Yeh B'Tifara, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'nasa, B'Chefsa Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, V'hu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Lecham Shelo, Lechak Birav, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'uz V'Hamizra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Yitzir נברא לנצח בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אלי והי גואלי וצורך לי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לנצח בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידו הפקיר רוחי בעת אישון בעירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירא you sing אדון עולם
בטרם כל יציר נברא
לנצח בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא one more time אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לנצח בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא